Have you ever heard of children with completely black eyes appearing mysteriously on doorsteps? This isn't a tale from a horror movie, but an urban legend that has been circulating for decades. These children, often described as eerie and unsettling, show up uninvited, seeking entry into homes or vehicles. Their eyes, devoid of any white or color, are completely black, giving them a name: the black-eyed children. But what makes them truly disturbing isn't just their appearance. Those who have claimed encounters with these entities often describe an overwhelming sense of dread that washes over them. This inexplicable fear, this chilling terror, it's as if their mere presence is a harbinger of something ominous. Despite the numerous accounts, no concrete evidence has ever been found to validate these encounters. So the question remains, are the black-eyed children mere products of overactive imaginations? Or do they represent a sinister reality lurking in the shadows of our world? Could these encounters be a figment of imagination or a reality yet to be understood? In 1948, a man was found dead in Australia under mysterious circumstances. This was the beginning of what would become known as the Tamam Shud case, a mystery that continues to baffle investigators to this day. The unidentified man, dubbed the Somerton Man, was discovered on Somerton Beach with no apparent cause of death. But the real twist in this enigma was the scrap of paper found hidden in a concealed pocket of the man's trousers. The paper read, "Tamam Shud," a phrase meaning ended or finished in Persian. Further deepening the mystery was a secret compartment in a car near the crime scene, where investigators found a book. This book contained a strange code that, despite the best efforts of cryptographers, has never been cracked. The man's identity, the meaning of the cryptic codes, and the circumstances surrounding his death remain unknown. Decades later, the case remains unsolved, leaving a trail of questions in its wake. Often referred to as the most haunted house in England, the Borley Rectory has a history of chilling paranormal activity. This imposing building, nestled in the tranquil English countryside, has been a hotbed for purported supernatural occurrences. The tales of hauntings began in the late 19th century, with reports of ghostly apparitions, unexplained sounds, and mysterious footsteps echoing through the halls. Many claim to have seen the specter of a nun wandering the grounds in silent sorrow. Others reported hearing phantom tolling bells and disembodied voices whispering in the dark. A phantom coach driven by headless horsemen was also a recurring apparition. The terrifying incidents escalated to such a degree that the rectory was eventually abandoned. Despite numerous investigations and studies, no definitive answers have been found to explain the strange phenomena associated with Borley Rectory. Is the Borley Rectory truly haunted, or is it a mere concoction of overactive imaginations? In 2001, panic gripped the city of Delhi, India, as reports of a mysterious creature known as the Monkey Man emerged. The Monkey Man was no ordinary entity. Witnesses painted a terrifying picture, describing it as a semi-human creature with metal claws covered in thick black fur. Its most chilling feature, however, were its purported glowing red eyes, which struck fear into the hearts of the city's residents. Night after night, the city was held hostage by the fear of this menacing creature. Reports of attacks spread like wildfire, with people claiming to have been scratched, bitten, and even leaped upon from the shadows. The creature was elusive, disappearing as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind only fear and unanswered questions. The terror reached such a fever pitch that the local authorities had to step in, but even they were left puzzled. Despite extensive investigations, no concrete evidence was ever found. Is the Monkey Man a real creature or a manifestation of mass hysteria? In 2013, a tragic and mysterious death occurred at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. The case of Elisa Lam, a Canadian student, has intrigued and puzzled people worldwide. Elisa was last seen in the hotel's elevator, where surveillance footage showed her exhibiting bizarre behavior. She pressed multiple elevator buttons, peered anxiously into the hallway, and at some points seemed to be hiding or conversing with an unseen entity. Days later, Elisa's body was discovered in the hotel's water tank on the roof. The unsettling part? The rooftop was alarmed and the water tanks were difficult to access, let alone to close from the inside. Despite this, the cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder as a significant factor. Yet questions remain. How did Elisa end up in the tank? What explains her strange actions in the elevator? Is there a rational explanation for Elisa's behavior, or is it a mystery waiting to be unraveled? In 1921, a ship was found abandoned off the coast of North Carolina. Its crew mysteriously vanished. This ship was no ordinary vessel, but the Carroll A. Deering, a 5-masted commercial schooner. The ship was in a disarray, with food laid out as though the crew had been in the midst of a meal. Yet, there was no sign of the crew themselves. They had simply disappeared. Over the years, theories have swirled about the crew's fate. Some suggest mutiny, as the ship's captain and his first mate were known to be at odds. Others propose piracy, given the ship's valuable cargo and the prevalence of sea criminals at the time. Then there are those who suspect something supernatural, as the area where the ship was found, known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic, is infamous for its shipwrecks and tales of ghostly apparitions. What could have happened to the crew of the Carroll A. Deering? A maritime mystery that continues to baffle. In 1954, a man arrived in Tokyo from a country that doesn't exist. This bizarre incident happened at Haneda Airport when a well-dressed man presented travel documents from a country named Taured. The problem? Taured doesn't exist on any world map. The perplexed airport authorities cross-examined him. Everything else appeared legitimate. His passport was full of visa stamps, his driver's license was valid, and he even had a checkbook from a bank that no one could trace. But the country of Taured, from where he claimed to hail, was nowhere to be found. Understandably, officials were skeptical. They decided to detain him in a nearby hotel while they investigated his story. The ensuing morning, however, the man had vanished from his locked, guarded room. His documents, which were kept in the airport security room, had also disappeared. Who was the man from Taured, and where did he vanish to? A mystery that defies explanation. In 1969, a 6-year-old boy disappeared while camping in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The boy was Dennis Martin, whose sudden and mysterious disappearance launched one of the most extensive search operations in the history of the park. Over 1,000 people combed through the rugged terrain, yet no trace of Dennis was found. The FBI was brought in, but they too could not solve the mystery. Even the Green Berets were called upon, but their search efforts only deepened the enigma. Despite the exhaustive efforts, Dennis Martin vanished without a trace. Theories abound, from wild animal attacks to being lost and succumbing to the elements, but none have been substantiated. The case of Dennis Martin remains a chilling reminder of the vast, untamed wilderness and the mysteries it holds. What happened to Dennis Martin? A haunting question that still echoes in the mountains. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, a site of significant Civil War battle, is reported to be haunted. The echoes of a brutal past reverberate across its landscape, giving rise to tales of ghostly apparitions and spectral sounds of battle. Visitors and residents alike have reported seeing ghostly soldiers, forever locked in their final, fatal conflict. The sounds of gunfire, the cries of the wounded, the gallop of spectral horses. All these have been heard in the dead of night, turning the peaceful fields into an eerie echo chamber of history. Some even claim to have seen full-scale ghostly reenactments of the battle, complete with cannon fire and charging cavalry. These spectral sightings and sounds add another layer to Gettysburg's historic significance, intertwining the tangible past with the intangible present. Are these encounters true manifestations of the past, or are they the creations of overactive imaginations, fueled by the tragic history of the area? Are these ghostly encounters a reminder of the past, or simply eerie tales? In 1966, 2 Brazilian electronic technicians were found dead with lead masks over their eyes. This chilling discovery on Vintam Hill has puzzled investigators and sparked countless theories. The men were found in their formal suits, lying side by side. With no signs of trauma or struggle, the cause of death was as opaque as the lead masks they wore. These masks, crudely cut from sheets of lead, were designed to cover the eyes, suggesting protection from something. But from what? Radiation? A brilliant light? The men's last known actions only deepen the mystery. They purchased waterproof coats and a bottle of water from a local bar. The waitress reported they seemed nervous, frequently checking their watches. When the men didn't return home, a search was initiated, leading to the grim discovery. Despite extensive investigations, the purpose of the masks and the cause of their deaths remain unknown. A bizarre case that remains as mysterious as the day it was discovered. From the black-eyed children to the lead masks case, we've journeyed through a series of chilling mysteries. We've encountered the eerie dread of the black-eyed children, the elusive Somerton man and his cryptic codes, and the haunted halls of Borley Rectory. We've walked the streets of Delhi chased by the Monkey Man, and stood on the roof of the Cecil Hotel pondering the strange case of Elisa Lam. We've boarded the ghost ship, Carroll A. Deering, and met a man from a country that doesn't exist. We've searched for Dennis Martin in the Great Smoky Mountains and listened to the phantom battle cries in Gettysburg. And we've puzzled over the purpose of lead masks in the haunting Brazilian case. Each mystery, a puzzle piece in the grand tapestry of the unknown. Are these mysteries mere tales or hidden truths? Perhaps we may never know.